car's got that swing. Glasses clink, hear the ice cubes sing. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie, chasing dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. Sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Give me just a moment. I totally forgot about the camera again. Go ahead, Mark. Make your joke about the cloaking device. You'd be absolutely correct. Sorry about that, everybody. I'll get this right one of these days, I'm sure. Let's see. There we go. Yes, I am on air, but I'm not futzing around with that switch anymore. The switch is completely gone on this light, and it's incredibly frustrating. Okay, let's get into it. Salute. Thank you for being patient with me. You guys are absolutely wonderful. I am working hard to get all this technology working, but this is the primary technology behind the show, and it is fallible. It is absolutely fallible, but you guys are the customer. You guys are always right, and I super appreciate you. We'll get into that, where that comes from, what it means. Doesn't mean what you think it means. I want to start out by saying hi to Big Al of Big Al Presents, who comes in. Boy, he's starting out the show right off the bat with an opinion on this, and I like where he's going with this. He says, "Cheers, my friends. Hope everyone is having a great day. Hate the AI obstacle course before you get to a real person." that is a big part of what inspired this show today. We will absolutely get into that. Mark Malnikoff says the customer service rule number 1, the customer is not always right. Again, we'll explain where that comes from and why Mark feels that way. Storyman Jack says, good morning, everyone. Good morning to Storyman Jack as well. Please make sure you subscribe to him. His name is Apropos. He is a wonderful storyteller. You want to check out his channel, you absolutely do. Netter says, I'm the love of her life, and she is absolutely the love of mine. Salute, my dear. I love you. She says hi to all of you. And she comes in with the first comment that I started because I want to come back to it. She was the one maneuvering that minefield that inspired today's show. My thing, if a customer is having issues accessing their account because something with your site is effed up, don't tell me to clear my cache and cookies. That's fracking useless. We'll come back to that. That's an element of so-called customer service, fake customer service that I'm going to address. Let's see. And Mark is saying, been dealing with customers who cache was cleared beforehand, rendering them impossible to deal with. Understood. Jonathan Conroy says, hail, all like button smashed. I appreciate it. Guys, I got to tell you, on a day-to-day basis, I don't get that, you guys see the chat. You guys know how many people are here. If all of you hit that thumbs up button, I get about 10 to 12 likes, right? I get 1 thumbs down, and I'm already down 10%. That's what you guys are fighting. For all of this, fugazi that YouTube puts in, the little competition to get points in the chat, let's work together on something that actually means something. And I'm talking about the ratio on this channel. You guys are the lifeblood of this channel, and you're going to make or break whether I'm successful here or not. So starting out with that like button actually makes a difference. I really, really appreciate it. Oh, this will be interesting, says Lester Skeptic Tank. Obsessions. We all perform the art, but not all of us perform it masterfully. Yeah, and some are just going through the motions, I would have to say. Mark loves the intro song. Hard not to sing along. Yes, Netter and Boomer have both been saying the same thing. It's like, wow, can't get that song out of my head. And, I do have theme songs for... Oh, actually, I have 2 different songs, an opening and closing song for Last Call. But you only hear those once a week. This one you hear 5 days a week. So it gets into your head a little bit more. UseRNG, welcome. Good to see you, my friend. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights says, hey, everyone, happy Thursday. One thing that really encourages me about Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, he comes into the chat and he always says, happy whatever day it is, right? There's a couple reasons that's so encouraging to me. First, it makes me think of all the people that, either get bent out of shape when you don't wish them a happy whatever holiday, or get upset when you do, because I don't celebrate that holiday. And how is me wishing a Jewish person a Merry Christmas? They don't celebrate Christmas. But it's coming from a good place. It's me wishing you a good... Today is Christmas to me, right? Or I am in a season of Christmas for me. And I am wishing you happiness in this time. You don't have to celebrate the holiday. You just have to accept my good wishes. And by the same token, when Daniel Berry comes in and says, happy Thursday. Well, what's so special about Thursday? What's special about Thursday is that we are sharing this day. And he is wishing us happy. And that in and of itself is a good thing. The other thing that encourages me about Daniel Barry, not only does he come into the chat to share this with us live, if he is not here live, he comes back and leaves a comment below to say happy Thursday or whatever day it happens to be. And that not only encourages me, but the algorithm loves it and says, hey, people like this guy's channel and his show. They comment, they are engaged. Let's maybe suggest him out some more. And thereby grows the community. I once had a 30-year manager tell me at times you need to tell a customer off, and there was an art to telling someone to go to hell and have them look forward to the trip. Absolutely. I've said that many times myself. Good point. That's diplomacy. Diplomacy is the art of telling someone to go to hell, but making them look forward to the trip. And in a way, that's a form of good customer service. Okay, I must have gotten my camera on correctly. We have visual. There you go. Yeah. No, it's not. I can't even blame Ferengi Tech. It's a loose nut behind the wheels. What the real problem is. Suzanne, welcome. Good to see you. Newest member. She was a recent subscriber, and I've seen her in the chat a number of times. And then somebody just gifted her a membership, and we are so glad to have her on the roll. And then you guys are all going into saying hi to each other, which of course is encouraging to me. So let us jump right into it. I want to get back to some of these comments. Actually, before I do that, let me kind of just start out with my musings about customer service. First, I guess I should give my bona fides, right? I know a thing or two about customer service. I have been working in customer service since 1983, I would say, is the first job that I held. So how many years is that? That's something like 40 years, something like that. You know, getting close to 50 years. Customer service. Because in a way, every single job is a form of customer service. Wilkie's Movies and Music. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for being here. We are talking customer service. And what is business? At its core, business is providing something to people that want the thing you're providing, and they're willing to pay you money for it. That's what business is. And ultimately, the person with the money is the person with the power. If you don't provide them what they want, you won't get their money. So it behooves you to provide them the best product that you can, or the best service. Service and product I may use interchangeably. And making them as happy with that service or product as you possibly can, so that they will come back again and again and maybe recommend other people. I suppose, I didn't think about this going into the show, but that's kind of what I've been doing here, right? As I was talking with you guys and requesting you guys to like, share, subscribe, become a member, but more than anything, share out the stream. Because I'm hoping that I'm providing a service to you that you enjoy enough that you're at least willing to recommend me to your friends. You know, I guess that's a kind of customer service, right? That's the core of business when it comes to it. My PSA for the day: don't watch FUBAR Season 2. You're welcome. I did not know this was a show. FUBAR. Are you suggesting that I look into Season 1, Sin? Is it worth looking into? I mean, if you made it to Season 2, you must have enjoyed Season 1 of whatever this is. But when you consider what FUBAR stands for, I'm not surprised. It sounds like FUBAR is FUBAR, at least as far as season 2 goes. What a greeting to have with two great ones like you. Oh, talking to Netter and Sin. Yes, that is the kind of thing I'm talking about. Now, what they're doing, those are genuine ladies, right? They have this spirit of encouragement. If you are a person who is like that, when it comes to your professional life, that's going to show through. And that is how I always, that is how I always approached customer service. I treat people in the professional world the way I treat people in my personal life, the way I treat friends and family, genuinely, sincerely, and warmly. Hey, an opportunity to interact with another person, that's always a good thing. I'm going to be as nice to them as I want them to be to me. And I hope we just have a great time together. Even if that is me just saying, hey, how can I help you? Can I help you find something? And I've always felt that people have a tendency to respond to that. I think people are like mirrors, right? Whatever you put out tends to bounce off them and come back to you. If you bounce out positivity, even if they're in a bad mood, they will tend to get a little bit more positive because of what you're putting out. And they'll tend to get a little bit more positive back at you. And if things go well, you could take and really turn somebody's day around. No, season 1 was terrible. Well, then how did you make it to season 2? But no, that's fine. I get it. And it pains me greatly to say this as a fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh, I didn't realize that this had something to do with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Well, that explains why you stuck it out as long as you did, Sin. I understand. And Sin says that Wilkie's movies and music is pretty great himself, and he is. He absolutely is. I love what he does, and if you're not subscribed to his channel, you're missing out. Actually, everybody here who has a channel, you should really. Oh, I was right the first time, because on YouTube, the chat is over here. Everybody who has a channel that hangs out with me, good people. I mean, we follow each other because we like what each other does. And, if you like what I do, you're probably going to like the people that I follow. So definitely worth subscribing to each other. Sorry, speech to test is failing me, and I'm not proofreading. I have learned to read intent as I read. So I oftentimes correct as I go to the best of my ability. I try. So anyway, let me go back to where does this idea that the customer is always right come from? Okay. It's got a couple of different attributions. One is to Henry Gordon Selfridge, and another is to Marshall Field, local guy. What it was never intended to be a hard and fast business rule, which is unfortunately how it's come to be used now, right? It was meant to be a marketing line, come to Marshall Fields where the customer is always right. Doesn't necessarily mean they mean it. But the spirit of it is, I start from the default that you're right, okay? In other words, you can feel comfortable coming to me if you've got a complaint, if you've got a concern, a request. I am going to err on the side of providing service to you. That's what the customer is always right means. But, now here's the big but. And if you like big buts and you cannot lie, listen closely. If the customer is a complete wackadoo, right, then you got to be remembering in the back of your mind, that's not right. But you are still going to treat them in the spirit of, you are the customer, you are my priority. Let's see what we can do for you in the spirit of, if not the literal intent of, what you are asking for. Yes, because the spirit is good, but people abuse it. And you gotta not be so rigid. You gotta move like a reed in the wind, right? You know, I can't, for example, give away the store to you, even though that's what you would like and that's what you're demanding. But what I can do, it's always got to be that. If you can't do something, what can you do? You always follow it up, right? No, but I can't do that, but, right? And you know, if you have that spirit of goodwill, of trying to serve, and that's, I think that's what it comes down to. Customer service, it's that serving part, right? That I think so many modern Western sensibilities rebels against. This idea of serving. I'm not a servant. Like it's a bad thing, right? Look, I don't generally get religious on this channel. I don't consider myself to be a religious person, but I think there's a lot of wisdom in religion. And there was this guy who was a really cool guy, a really nice kind of guy. His name was Jesus, and he had every reason as a prophet, as literally the Son of God, as the Messiah, the anointed one, the dude that literally had the power of the universe at the tip of his hands. He had, you know, they say power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, but a true hero doesn't necessarily use the power that he has. He came to serve, not to rule, right? The idea of Jesus washing the feet of his apostles, that was a very symbolic thing. That was the big cat getting on his hands and knees and washing the feet of the people who, in an ordinary sense, ought to be serving him, right? That is humility. That is service, right? And when you really think that through, you're like, hey, that actually is a very noble thing, right? There is an allegory for God and Jesus that people have told. The idea of a woman going into court, standing before the judge. She owes a fine for some traffic violation. And she pleads her case to the judge, and the judge says, the law is the law, you broke the law. You're guilty. This fine needs to be paid. Slams the gavel down. Then he puts the gavel down, stands up and takes off his robe, walks around the front of the bench to the clerk, and pays the fine. Because the girl was his daughter, and he was taking responsibility for his daughter. The fine had to be paid, and as a just judge, he had to give the ruling. But as a just father who takes responsibility for his daughter, he went and paid the fine. The analogy being, that's literally what God does through Jesus. You've all committed sins, and as a just God, the wages of sin is death, is what the Bible says. But God takes responsibility for his children. So he literally comes down off of his heavenly throne, comes to earth in the guise of a human being, and accepts the sin that, everyone's committed. And he dies on a cross, right? So that is humility, and that is service. And nobody is saying when you serve a customer, you got to give up your life for them. But you do have to have a heart that you give up your time and energy to serve, because, well, what else does the Bible say? Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you, right? Matthew 20:16, so the last will be first and the first will be last. That's right. That's exactly right. Or you want to put it in terms of Star Trek, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one. There's no bigger meaning than the smallest act of kindness. It is the greatest thing in the world. Absolutely true, Angelus. Thank you so much for being here, by the way. Storyman Jack says, I taught customer service at Apple. The level of customer service has been degraded to an alarming degree. You said it, my friend. A product can usually be purchased from many sources, but customer service is what sets things apart. I have said this about customer service. Customer service, and I'm paraphrasing another truism. The original truism is love covers over a multitude of sins. Again, I'm quoting the Bible here, right? Love covers over a multitude of sins. And what is customer service but a form of love? And customer service covers over a multitude of sins. When I go into a business and I'm upset about a mistake that was made, right? Good customer service is going to make me feel way better about that business, despite whatever problem went wrong, right? And again, it's a level of humility. You know what? If we messed up, we are sorry. We are going to make that right for you. And I am going to promise that we are going to do our best never to let that happen again. I will talk to the people that, that made these mistakes and explain to them why they were mistakes and train them so it doesn't happen again. So that the next time you come back and everybody else comes back, they will receive better service the next time. No, I'm not going to fire that customer, because then they don't learn anything. And the service does not improve. It improves because of a mistake like this that we learn from. And I will pay more to shop at a place that has great service over just cheaper prices. Exactly what I was kind of leading up to with that. You are not only paying for the product, you are also paying for the service. Why would I go into a store and spend my time, my energy, my gas to go physically do it myself when I can just get on the computer and order it on Amazon? The reason is because, first, I want it now. I want it in my hand so I can take it away with me. And maybe I don't know exactly what I need. So maybe I want to ask somebody, I need the best this that I can get. Do you know the thing I'm talking about? Can you take me to it? Can you show me where it is? We got two different ones. Do you know the difference between them? I am looking for some service, right? And if I have to pay a little bit more for that, totally worth it. Totally worth it. But let me go back to the comments that so what happens when I make a phone call, right? Trying to access my online account or whatever it is. I'm having a problem with my my password or whatever. If I'm going to get to okay, there's two schools of thought. Going back to what Al was saying with his first comment, having to navigate the AI pre-recorded BS that isn't capable of listening to me because it doesn't have any true understanding, right? What is the difference between that and a person? Presumably, when you talk to a person, the person listens to what you have to say, thinks about it, says, okay, I think I get what you're asking for. Let me see if this, let me see if I get, and then they troubleshoot, right? Computer AIs kind of can do that, but in a very limited sense. Humans are better at listening to what you're saying. And even if you're not very good at communicating, they we just talked about it here. Well, I just did voice to text, and I wasn't proofreading. Well, that's okay. When I read what you say, I know people use that tool, so I can usually weed out the mistakes or get to the gist of what you mean in a way that an AI cannot do, right? But what good is it if I get a hold of somebody who doesn't care, who isn't paying attention, and who is reading off a bunch of scripts that he's got in front of him? And that's how you end up with this concept of, first, you should clear your cache and your cookies. What good are you telling me that, reading from a script? I could just as easily get that from an AI. The value of it being a human being is that you understand that in some cases, yes, the cache that you have, the stored up information in your browser can cause problems. But before you do that, because it will cause more problems in other applications if I completely clear those out, let's see if that is really the problem or if there's something else going on, right? Otherwise, why are you even there? I could just as easily work with an AI. That is not good customer service. And that therein lies not only that problem, but I've often said, again, AI and technology are useful tools. They really are. If you use them and if you use them correctly. So for example, I've made this example many times. Everyone is nostalgic about Toys R Us. I don't want to grow up, I'm a Toys R Us kid. Especially at Christmas time. They had some great Christmas time commercials for Toys R Us. The idea being a dedicated toy store that if you were trying to find that big toy for Christmas time, can't find it anywhere else, you go to Toys R Us. And there's a belief, there's an assumption when you go to a brick and mortar store with real people that if they don't have it, they can help you find it. And where do we get that idea from, if nowhere else? Christmas time? Miracle on 34th Street, right? You go into Macy's and Santa Claus says, well, you know, we have fire engines and they're really good, but you know, the better ones are over at Gimbel's. Go to Gimbel's, and right now they're running a sale, right? You know, and what's the whole storyline there in Miracle on 34th Street? The woman's like, Macy's? Sending people to Gimbel's? I don't get it. Doesn't make any sense. And from a business standpoint, it didn't make sense to her. But what did it do? It was customer service. She's like, you know what? I'm not usually someone who goes to Macy's much anymore, but I'm going to shop at Macy's from now on. If that's the kind of service they're going to provide, you know, again, going back to what Wilkie's Movies and Music. And again, I use people's full titles because I want you to go and look them up on YouTube and subscribe. So I'm going to refer to him as Wilkie's Movies and Music, you know, rather than, you know, by name, which would be more personal. But I think he gets the spirit of what I'm trying to do. I want you to go and type in Wilkie's Movies and Music into the search bar on YouTube and then hit subscribe. But that's why he's willing to pay more for great service. Exactly right. Over the last 40 years, customer service depends on leadership. That's a good point. Treat your people badly, pay poorly, create us against corporate atmosphere, morale suffers, and then service suffers. Exactly right. I use AI to review my writing. Not to write it for me, but to give me analysis and do research. And then what do you do with that? It gives you a suggestion and says, this might be a better way to say it. And you can choose to go with that because you go, yeah, actually that does sound better. Or nope, you don't understand what I'm getting at all. Never mind. But those tools are really not any different than tools that you've all been using and didn't even realize were kind of the same sort of concept of AI. Spell checkers and grammar checkers. That's all that AI really is, a beefed up version of those. I was actually getting nostalgic over being a kid, getting the JCPenney's Christmas catalog and marking up the toys I wanted as kids. I'm going to have more videos going forward involving those ads from the JCPenney's and the Sears catalog and so forth. And there's a reason behind that, because, you know, I'm making these custom action figures, not for sale, but I will tell people how they can get them themselves, or, you know, reproduce what I'm doing. That's not a business I want to get into, but I am inspired by all that nostalgia myself, and I'm willing to put in the work myself to do that. But so getting back to what I was saying about Toys R Us, is there was this idea that I could go into Toys R Us, and because Toys R Us is a franchise, right, and they had an online presence, they had an online shop, right, there was this belief that I could go into the store and ask for the product, and okay, if you don't have it, can you tell me, is there another Toys R Us around that does? And you'd get that blank stare, and you could almost hear, like when you're trying to log into the computer back in the old days, by the audible baud. No idea what you're saying, right? No, I can't. I have no way to find out if another store has it. They didn't have a computer hookup to the other stores. There was no integration of the stock for the other stores. You know, there wasn't a merchandise, you know, database or anything like that. And you sit there and you go, seriously? Seriously, right? You physically would have to drive to each individual Toys R Us around you looking for that product. And if you're going to do that, then you might as well go, you know what? There's a Walmart over there. Let me check them too. There's a Target. Let me check them too. If I got to physically go to the friggin' stores, oh, okay, Walmart had it. And you never make it to the other Toys R Us, right? You go online, same thing. No ability to just order it online, right? Well, if I can't get it from Toys R Us, I'll just get it from Amazon now. This is literally the mentality that the general public went through with Toys R Us, and why Toys R Us literally went out of business. They did not provide the service that people wanted. Why am I bringing this up? Because I have recently talked about having exactly this same problem with Target. Yes, Target. I will not shop at Target for a number of reasons, right? And you can probably guess what most of those reasons are. But most recently, actually, I'm not even going to go most recently. Let's go back a little bit. Let's go back about 3-4 years, okay? I think everyone pretty much knows that I'm kind of into the Star Wars action figures, and I do some of my own customizing and stuff. But I like to start with something, right? I don't want to start from nothing. This, for example, is a 3D printed figure from Funky McClunky. You can find him on YouTube. He has recently done what I have done, having been let go from his primary job, has decided to make the side hustle his primary focus. So it would be great if you went and subscribed to Funky McClunky. And if you are into action figures, maybe hit him up for some of what he's doing over there. But just like with Funky McClunky, who had put out this custom Gourmanda figure, what the heck? As long as I'm talking about it, let me pick it up and show it to you. So this is the four-armed Harvey Korman character from the holiday special. I created a whole line of holiday special card backs with the to put the figures in. I am working on another one of his customs. This will be going on a card back. This is a character from the Cantina that only appeared in the holiday special. And I wanted to do animated characters from the holiday special. The most obvious one being Boba Fett. Did not create the figure myself. I purchased him from a boutique online seller called Pro Custom Figures. He had the firing backpack and the whole bit, but he was in the style of the animated feature that he first appeared in. Great. Wanted to do the same thing for R2-D2 and C-3PO. And as it so happens, the image, of those figures, that style of figure from the Droids cartoon series from the 80s was being reproduced by Hasbro, so painted in that animated style on the card back of the Droids TV show, exclusively from Target. Okay, so I went online to Target, pre-ordered them, paid for them, and waited 6 months, only to have my order canceled. Why are they canceled? Well, we didn't get enough from Hasbro, so we had to cancel them. We'll let you know when they come in. And I was pissed, because that is the only place you can get them. It's an exclusive, right? And so I called and I said, what can I do? Is there a waiting list? Is there something? No, I'm sorry. There's nothing we can do for you. Wonderful. Only come to find out that they were then releasing them in stores. And again, there was no way to go online and find them or whatever. You physically had to go into the stores and find them by going door to door. This is the problem that recurs and recurs with Target and their exclusives. And plenty of scalpers were finding them. They would find them in the stores, pick them up, sell them on eBay for 2-3 times as much. It was absolutely friggin' ridiculous. Well, guess what? The same thing has happened again just this past 2 months ago. They had a promo going with Hasbro. It was an exclusive. All these retro line of Hasbro figures from Star Wars in the style of the original 70s figures. Figures that had never, for the most part, never been released before. The Sand Trooper, the Blockade Runner, Rebel Troopers, Luke Skywalker in the garb in the outfit that he wears in the ceremony. That was literally the figure that I wanted. Why did I want that figure? Because that's the outfit that he wears in the holiday special in that animated feature. It would have gone with the Boba Fett, the R2-D2, and the C-3PO, right? Well, guess what? Same thing happens. I go ahead and I place a promo. Oh, and the other thing too was I was going to take that Luke Skywalker figure that I wanted and send all the rest to Michael over at Retroblasting so that he could do a compare and contrast with the Stan Solo, figures. I've already got them. I could do a video like that too, but it's more his brand than it is mine. But of course, they canceled. And again, they said this was a problem with Hasbro. Not them, but with Hasbro. And I'm sure there's plenty of blame to go around. Hasbro doesn't give a flying crap and has never had a good distribution model either. So they canceled all of the pre-orders. Only come to find out that they were, again, putting them out in the stores. But this time, you could go online and you could see which stores around you actually had them. Come to find out that there was a couple in my area that actually had them. And although they wouldn't ship them to me, I could pay for them online and go pick them up. But what was weird was that you could pay for it online, and then you had to wait 2 hours, and then they would tell you if it was ready to be picked up. All right, fine. 2 hours later, I get an email that says, sorry, it's not available. We've refunded your money. Again? Yes. So what do? I call the store, looking for a little bit of customer service. Can you explain to me what's happened and why? Well, you see, we don't update our online stock. It's not real time. It gets updated at midnight. So in the morning, we take orders, but we don't know how many are on sale, are in stock. That's why we basically, I'm going to translate what they say. I'm not going to say what they exactly said. They're basically telling me we take more orders than we actually have product in store. And when someone picks it up, it's gone. And so all the other people that put their money down, they don't get it and they're out of luck. So in other words, your online system is useless. You in the store are useless. There is no communication. She goes, well, let me see. Would you like me to see if there's another store in your area that has it? Oh, sure, please. By all means, look and see if there's another store that has it. I'm sorry, there isn't another store that has it. No kidding, there isn't. I just looked. I just did exactly what you did. So no kidding, you didn't have the ability to. I can do this myself. Why do I need you? Customer service. You provided none. You did nothing that I couldn't do myself. And this is why I will never shop at Target again. And this is why, and Netter, if you're still watching, I think I've decided I'd rather pay more for that figure from Pro Custom Figures than the $20 one that we found on eBay. See, somebody out there did pick up this bunch of figures and is selling the one figure that I want for $20. But honestly, I think I would prefer to pay $50 to the boutique shop that did a custom version of the figure that looks better and comes with an additional accessory that Hasbro should have put in and didn't. I don't know why you wouldn't put a lightsaber in with Luke Skywalker, even if, he doesn't actually have a lightsaber in that scene that he's depicting. This is the irony. The sculpt on the Pro System figure has a little bit of a derpy eye, but it still looks like it's in the style of those original 70s figures. Whereas the one that is the Target exclusive, the head looks like a Playmobil figure. You ever seen Playmobil? Those action figures with the cup hands, almost Lego-like, and the head that looks very. If you know what Playmobil is, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I think I would probably they still haven't refunded. You're still seeing it on the credit card. That's ridiculous. That's another problem we're going to have to deal with Target. Guys, I will never do business with Target ever again. I am absolutely, and nothing against, I'm calling him a scalper because he has purchased something and he's reselling it for a profit. Technically that's scalping, but at $20, he's not overcharging for the figure. It's still a reasonable price for a resell of an original figure. But at this point, I don't think I even want the Hasbro version. I'd rather pay twice as much to the boutique because the fans are doing the best work. I don't want to support in any way this Target model. And I said to the woman, it was a manager obviously that I was speaking to. I said, do you understand that this is why your brick and mortar store is going to go away? Target is going to go out of business in the next 10 years and you will be out of work. Your store, Target, is going to go the way of Toys R Us. unless something seriously changes. And I see nothing changing. In fact, I think it's more inevitable for Target to go out of business than it was for Toys R Us, because Target's got other problems besides their customer service and lack of abilities in terms of online presence. Let's be honest, a problem that Toys R Us did not have. You vote with your dollars. You do not do business with companies that, I'm not even going to say companies that hate you, because we know of companies that do hate us, right? And I do feel like Target is one of them. But you don't want to do business with companies that don't serve you, right? If it's just about getting the product you want, then you just friggin' go to Amazon. I don't like Amazon. Amazon is evil too. But at least when it comes down to the very basics of getting the product you're looking for, at least you know you'll get it from Amazon. You get exactly what you pay for. They send it to you. They've even got a pretty good return policy for the most part. If you're an Amazon Prime user, you don't even have to pay most of the time for the shipping, and you get it usually like next day, right? I've actually had some cases where I get it same day if it's coming from locally. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Unfortunately, it is Amazon that is providing the service that is above and beyond what these other companies are doing. And then we're coming to the end of the show. I don't want to get off on another tangent here, but it was a point that I wanted to make. You've also got these people that work in these shops bitching and moaning about what's a minimum wage. I should have a living wage. You're not providing a service that even meets that minimum expectation. And you want us to pay you $20 an hour? $20 an hour for giving me nothing. Making me not want to shop at your store. So I don't shop at your store, and now your living wage is zero because you're out of work. Your business closed. Congratulations. You got minimum wage up to $20, but you're making zero now. How's that working out for you? You and all your friends are now out of work, right? Same thing with fast food, right? We said you raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, $20 an hour. That burger is going to go up to $20. Well, guess what? The literal burger isn't $20, but to get a meal there for two people, $20 to $30. That's now a luxury. I'm not doing it anymore. So now what happens? McDonald's and all the other businesses can't continue to function. They can't pay people. So what do? Now you order through their apps and through kiosks, right? You get exactly what you pay for. You go, you pick it up, you leave, right? But even that's a problem. I will not go to McDonald's and use their app because I downloaded their app and I tried using it and it glitched and I can't clear out the last order that I made. I mean, I got the product. It was a perfectly good transaction. But whoever it was that brought me my food did not then clear out the transaction. And there is no way to clear it out of the app now. Even if I removed the app and re-downloaded it, it goes to the same account. And it still shows I haven't picked up my food, so I can't place another order. So I said, I will never use this app again. I removed it from my phone and I said, I'm done. And this was even after trying to ask for help from some human being that, well, I never actually got to a human being who could help me out with it. So I said, screw it, I'm done. I won't do this anymore. It's not worth it. So if I go to McDonald's, I just order at the window. And no, I will not use your app. Period. But I don't go to McDonald's anymore for exactly that reason now. They're going out of business because they could not provide the service. and the people that wanted to be employed by them demanded so much money, they basically put the company, their own position, out of business. And I do believe that McDonald's will be going that way. Anyone who's doing any business analysis on McDonald's knows that their revenue is dropping, and they are hurting. And they're going to start closing up shops pretty darn soon. You're only going to find McDonald's overseas. That's what's going to end up happening. Makes In-N-Out of steel. They had historically paid more than minimum wage, and their meals are more reasonably priced. Yeah, they were managing their business well, it sounds like. We don't have In-N-Out here, so I don't know what their business model looks like. I did see Mark Melnikoff did recently send me an article that Jack in the Box, a California-based business, is opening up about 10 stores in the Chicagoland area. Why does that matter to me? Because Jack in the Box used to be here in Chicago when I was a kid. I remember getting, their version of Happy Meals and their burgers, and they had some exclusive toys that I remember fondly. And I said to Mark and to Netter, I said, you know what, when they open up, I'll probably go and, spend the money to get a sandwich just for nostalgia reasons, even if it is at a premium price. Probably never go back again, but just once, maybe, I think that would be pretty cool. And that's the other thing. McDonald's, the other thing that they had, nothing from nothing equals nothing, right? Yeah. But one of the things that McDonald's does have that I really like is the Egg McMuffin. Started making it for myself at home. Their hash browns were really good. Guess what? You can buy those frozen in bulk and fry them yourself. And you know what? They're every bit as good. In fact, probably better because I'm not using seed oil when I fry. So I'm not saying it's healthy, but it's healthier, and significantly cheaper. And exactly the way I want it. I can fry it as brown as I want or lightly fried as I want. Exactly the way I want. Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Welcome, my friend. It's been a busy day. Good. I'm glad you were able to take a moment. Come have a sip with us. That was my little rant for today. I will be doing another video in the future about the whole Hasbro thing. I've got some... I think I'm going to go ahead and try to convince Netter, my enabler, to allow me to spend the extra premium price on that Pro Custom figure. And I'm going to do a video about all of this. And I won't have the Target version. I'll use a stock picture to show the comparison and say, this is why I went with this. And I will continue to hammer both Hasbro and Target. Both companies need to get their collective heads out of their collective rectums, or each other's rectums, however it's working out, or they will end up going out of business. They absolutely will. They hate their customers. In a field that, specifically toys is a dying industry anyway. You need to maintain all the market share that you can. Jealously, you've got to guard those customers, and unfortunately they're pushing them away. As kids are getting less and less into toys and more into, their phones. They have turned away from selling toys to children, and they are selling toys to people like me that are very discriminating, very opinionated adult collectors. And that's a very finite market that is also going away for different reasons. We're dying. Nobody lives forever, despite trying, right? What, I intend to live forever, die trying? But chances are eventually the Reaper catches up with you. And that's a customer gone. And time continues, and at the end of a generation, you will have no more customers. Hasbro. What are you going to do then? Don't know. Customer service. Provide service, people will return. You build it, they will come. You provide it, they will come. And they will give you money. If you don't do it, they won't come. You go broke. It's really that simple. My friends, I'm sorry. It was a rant again today. I didn't intend it to be that way. I meant it to be more interactive and just thought-provoking, but maybe it was thought-provoking in a different way. Maybe it's good for me to get the feels out and, release the stress. But Netter had a really hard time with a pharmacy that I swear they're going to be going out of business too. When I literally have to go, she had a medication she had to get, and they didn't have it. And the person that she talked to online, after going through all the crap that she went through to get through the AI to get to a real person, when she finally talks to the real person didn't know what they were talking about, and gave her bad information, and couldn't look up if the product was available at another store. So I'm like, wait, so you're saying after you went through all of that, I'm still going to have to drive to each individual store to see if they have it? They can't give you that information? That's ridiculous. What do I even need them for? Just put in an order with Amazon and have it delivered to our house. Let's stop giving them our money. And that's what's going to end up happening. We'll all end up getting our stuff online from now on, and these stores will go out of business. Sorry, if you don't like it, what's the option? Remind me to tell you about a pretty shitty customer service experience I had with Lyft. Ugh. Yeah, that's a whole other area. Lyft is, one of those facilitating companies that you're really dealing with a contractor who is loosely affiliated with a company, and they have less direct control over their contractors. But the contractor is still kind of a business owner in and of it himself, providing a service, and should be providing a decent service so that you give them a good review and more people will want to do business with them. But that's not how it's done. Kapla, spelled as shown, means success, commonly used as a greeting amongst Klingons or after battle. The other greeting is Nuchnech, which means literally, what do you want? Since there is no hello in Klingon Hole. Yeah, the language is based on a culture that doesn't really do niceties. They are functional, right? In fact, customer service in a Klingon shop would be buy or die. If you're not here to buy, get out. Not interested in your perusing. That's not what Klingons do. Klingons go, buy a thing, and leave. Anyway, that's the Klingon segment. I was able to do that in just 2 or 3 sentences. I've gone over, guys. I've kept you longer than I had anticipated. You guys, though, are wonderful for actually putting up with my rants and spending your lunchtime listening to me prattle on. I really greatly appreciate it. And Darth Plato said, just browsing. I don't have a problem with you stopping by and just browsing, as long as, please, you hit that thumbs up button on the way out. It would really, really encourage me. It encourages me just to see you here in the chat, giving my lunchtime some meaning. So, guys, I super appreciate it. Tonight, you can find me over on Netters Network. It's probably just going to be the two of us. It doesn't look like the guest that we were trying to get for her would pan out. Having a hard time with technology on his end. So it's probably just going to be a chill session tonight. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. So I guess the guest is going to be all of you tonight on Thursday Things 9 Central on Netters Network. And of course, tomorrow, come back for Liquid Lunch, where I tell you about the drink that I will be having on Friday night for Last Call, where I will be sharing that drink with Stark of Iron. Great channel, great chat show with the whole Tony Stark veneer. Definitely going to be a good time. He and I are very simpatico. So, guys, I thank you all so much for all of it. You guys take care. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of the week. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the high noon.